Hello viewers, today we're going to be measuring the power draw in this room here because we only have 15 amps to work with, so I gotta know how much power everything is drawing on a regular basis so that we don't go above what the circuitry provides when we add on all the lights. So I got this computer plugged in here to the kilowatt meter. I'm gonna go over the amps. And I've got another kilowatt meter. I got a lot of these things. These are great. I use these all the time. Another one here, which I'm going to plug this workstation into. Now this is the server. I'm going to put this into this UPS for now. This is the fan, so I'm not going to worry about that. And then this is the speakers. I'll put that into the UPS. And then I'm going to take the UPS and plug it into this kilowatt meter and go to amps. So that's interesting. We're getting 119 volts on this one, and the other one is getting 122. That's kind of odd. Well, anyways, amps and amps. I'm going to power up the server now. That's taking about an amp. Fortunately, the video editing computer is quite efficient. Well, I don't know about this screen that I use with it. The screen may not be. So that computer just turned on. Wait for the screen to come on. Now, of course, with a computer, the load is going to fluctuate because the computer doesn't draw a steady load all the time. A constant load. It's going to flux with the processor load and everything. Alright, so this is drawing about 1.6 amps. I'm going to log into the computer and I'm going to turn the speakers on and we're going to play some music. Okay, and this is not going to work. This may not be finished initializing yet. Okay, well, in the time being, let's get this other computer going here. I think the screens are already on, so we'll just switch that on and watch what happens. It actually didn't go up that much. Monitors are all awake now. Whoops. Okay, so let's see if this is working now. Yeah, it's loaded up now. Okay. Where is it? Here we go. What should we play? I'm not familiar with most of these. I'll just play this one. So that's pulling about 2 amps. I don't usually do anything too CPU intensive on this computer, but I'll just open this up because this takes a lot of CPU. I'll do a screen recording, and then let's give it something to record here. Where are we at now? We're still at 1.3 amps. Let's see here. I'm just going to play a video in the full screen mode, and this should load up about maybe half the CPU, and this is about maybe a third of the CPU perhaps. Let's skip that. We'll go up to 1080p, and I can't see the CPU thing anymore. That's about half CPU load, and we're looking at about 1.5 amps. So I think the most I'll ever be drawing from this particular workstation is about 2 amps. So that's good. Stop that recording. Hopefully I remember to delete that later. I'll probably forget and it'll just be in there for months, but whatever. Okay. So now let's try this workstation, which is currently drawing 1.4 amps. Let's pull up the video editor here. And go figure, there's no videos in there. Okay. I just put a video in here just for the sake of having something to render. And I'm going to save this into the server, so this would be like a normal use case. Let's see here. I want to throw it into the base. Why can't I get... There we go. Just put it into this here. Okay, so we should see the CPU go up. Once it starts rendering, I'll open some programs. Actually, I don't want the email open, not on video. Quit out of that. Actually, none of these programs I want open on video. Okay, so that's processing now. Let's see. It probably didn't go up much at all. It did up a little bit. 1.8. Let's play some music and see if that runs it up at all. Ugh, not stupid iTunes. I hate iTunes. Get that out of there. I wish I could just delete it from the computer. So that went a little bit higher than the other one did, which I'm kind of surprised by, because this is much less equipment. I guess it must all be coming from that. Alright, so that was about 2. I'm going to put this one at 2.5, so we're already up to 4.5 amps of power draw just from this equipment. The battery refresher, I don't know what this draws, but this is running all the time, so this definitely needs to be accounted for as well. I don't really want to interrupt the charge cycle. It's still charging one battery. I'll get a different charge. I got a few of these. I got this refresher plugged up, and it's already pulling 0.1 amps just from doing nothing. And so this is a good example of why you should unplug things when you're not using them if you want to save a little bit of money on your light bill. Because there's a lot of things like this that draw power for no reason when they're sitting idle. So I'm going to load this refresher up with AA batteries and let's see what happens. Now of course these are all full, so it may not draw a lot of power initially here. Yeah, they're all going to refresh first. So I don't know, maybe that doesn't draw any power. It's not budging off of, oh there we go, now it's up to 0.35. So that's kind of fluctuating a little bit, or actually quite a bit. 0.42. We're going to have to come back in a moment when it's done with the refreshing cycle and it just goes to straight charge. I suspect it'll take a lot more power when it's just doing a straight charge. It's in charging mode now and it's drawing about 0.4. It was up toward about 0.5 a few minutes ago. Of course it's going to go down as the batteries become more full. So I think what I will do is I'm going to allot 0.5 amps for each of the battery charges. And it's not unusual that I use two at once. I've got that one and then this one, and I actually have another one too. I don't know, this one's newer, maybe it draws more power. I think it charges faster, so it probably does draw a little more power. This one's 1,000 milliamps on an AA, and I think this one's only 700. 700 is better for the battery. Yeah, it is. So the other one may draw a little more. So we'll allot an amp for the two battery charges, 2.5 amps for that desk, 2 amps for this desk, which means we have a total of, if I can count, that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5 amps consumed on a regular basis. Now this light is going to pull over 1 amp, so we're never going to use that light. The fan is about 0.8 amps, so that'll bring us up to 6.5 amps out of 15 already used. I believe the circuitry in here also powers the bedroom, which almost always has at least that vaporizer thing running plus the fan, so that's another amp. So we're only left with about 6.5 amps or so to work with, and even then you're really kind of pushing the boundaries. So you just have to be very careful when I'm plugging everything up that we don't exceed that limit.